Willoughby mother murdered in her own home.
Tonight, police say the woman's foster child is to blame.
An unthinkable crime.
I can see blood on the blade. I can see blood on her.
Sabrina had stabbed Lisa 178 times.
A family forever changed.
Everything seemed so normal, and then this happens.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand? No. Were you and Lisa in the process of going through a divorce? Lisa, how do you feel with her?
Me and Lisa have never been the best.
Why is he not cooperating with us? What is he hiding from us?
911, what is your emergency? What is going on? Hello? Who had the knife?
My sister.
The 911 operator dispatches officers to the Knoefel home in Willoughby Hills. She stays on the phone with 13-year-old Megan Zanella.
Where is your sister?
Quick!
What? I got everyone coming to you, honey. Where is your sister?
I was on patrol, and I heard the call come over dispatch.
Green Drive, I have a female with stab wounds. Attention, ambulance. Ambulance is needed.
You could tell by the tone of her voice that it wasn't normal.
When the police arrived, they found Kevin Knoefel, who made the 911 call, come out of the house and say, "You better come in. Hurry, hurry."
She was frantically waving her hands for me to hurry up and get in the house, screaming that she's gonna kill my mother. She was very, very panicked, very frantic. So we approached the bedroom door, and I was expecting to hear something. You're being told somebody's being stabbed. There's, some kind of fight going on, but you hear nothing. It was eerie.
18-year-old Sabrina Zunich, the Knoefels' foster daughter, walks out of the bedroom.
Sabrina has a 12-inch bread knife that she is holding in her right hand. She's covered in blood.
I could see blood on the blade. I could see blood on her. Immediately, we started screaming to drop the knife. It almost like snapped her out of whatever she was in, back to some type of reality. I kicked it away from her, and we put her down on the floor. It was a very tense couple seconds.
When I first walked into the house, the scene was horrifying. It was very bloody, smell of death.
Detectives discover the body of 41-year-old Lisa Knoefel.
Lisa was laying in between the bed and the wall. There was a lot of blood on the walls, on the bed, and on the ceiling as well.
The coroners documented that Sabrina had stabbed Lisa 178 times.
It was a longer bread knife, and the blade was actually curved. It was bent. It's just, you try to picture in your mind what had to have happened to make that knife bend like that. I could hear a child crying from my left. We opened up the door to clear the closet, and that's when I found a very, very small child screaming.
Sabrina Zurich is taken to the hospital to treat injuries to her hands from welding the knife.
The suspect, Sabrina Zunich, she was a 18-year-old foster child of Lisa Knoefel. Also inside the house was Megan Zanella and Haley Knoefel, Megan being 13 and Haley being 3 years old.
The father, Kevin, was away on a trip. He was a truck driver, and he was in Michigan at that point.
Lisa was married before she met Kevin. Her first child, Megan, was actually born in 1999. Her first marriage ended in 2003, and she met Kevin soon after, and they got married in 2006. And the very next year, their daughter, Haley, was born.
Lisa worked for the Cuyahoga County Job and Family Services in the sex division.
She worked on some of the most difficult cases in the county. Caring for children wasn't just a job. She lived it. She brought troubled kids into her home.
Sabrina was in foster care for many years before she came to the Knoefels.
Sabrina joined the Knoefel family when she was 17 years old.
for me, please? Yeah, you remember me, right?
10 hours after the murder, Sabrina Zunich is released from the hospital into police custody with pending murder charges. She hasn't revealed anything about what happened.
Our main goal when we first interviewed Sabrina was to get Sabrina to tell us exactly what happened. We caught her coming out of the room, so we knew she did it. We wanted to know why.
So what do you recall?
Yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
getting done with my homework, going, I don't know, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bed.
And we were at home.
Mm-hmm.
What, anything unusual happen?
I don't know. Everything went fine according to what I knew of.
Starting from when you got home from school yesterday.
I got home, I went to join home. Then we had hamburger helper. And then I went back to doing my homework. It was like 12. Went upstairs, just tried to go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep, so I went to go get some Advil.
Mm-hmm.
Ibuprofen. Because my head hurt.
Where did you take ibuprofen from?
In Lisa and Kevin's bedroom. That's
Where?
where I felt. Kevin and Lisa's bedroom.
Kevin and Lisa's bedroom? Okay.
We're trying to lock her into a story.
Do you remember what the bottle said?
We
Okay. After some point in time, you don't know how long it's been, you can't go to bed because you got a headache, correct? You go open up the medicine cabinet, white bottle that says ibuprofen. How many did you take?
3.
When she's giving us short, one-word answers, we know she's lying to us. She doesn't have a good explanation for it.
Sabrina continues to act like she doesn't remember the events of the night. Detectives try a new direction.
How do you get along with Kevin?
Kevin and me are cool. I mean, he's more the one that helps me out. Because this is Megan to deal with. And so we made agreements a long time ago that if I need anything, that I can go to Kevin.
How about with Lisa? How do you get along with her?
Me and Lisa's never been the best. She's never seemed to like me, and she's been wanting me out of the house.
Detectives sense an opening. They abruptly switch gears.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now?
What?
A Willoughby mother murdered in her own home.
Tonight, police say the woman's foster child is to blame. Authorities say Lisa Knoefel was stabbed to death. Her 18-year-old foster daughter is in custody tonight.
Detectives are interrogating Sabrina Zunich about the murder of her foster mother 10 hours earlier in her home.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand?
No.
When people touch their face or, start scratching or start tapping their toes, it's a good indication to us that the person's probably lying. They're nervous.
Oh, you had a knife. You stabbed Lisa.
I did.
Yes, you did. And Megan called the police.
It can't be true.
It is. I'm sorry.
This was really dead.
Denise is dead. I'm sorry.
I don't believe this. Nobody else was hurt.
Nobody else was hurt. Thank goodness.
What's gonna happen to Haley, Megan, and Kevin?
Haley, Megan, and Kevin are all safe. They're at home. How'd you get along with Megan and Haley?
Haley is my everything. I love her.
Okay.
Megan, me and her were up and down. So, what you're saying is true. You're telling me Haley and Megan saw me or her mother?
Correct.
Nobody needs to see that.
No.
Her emotions were up and down. We call that a big pendulum swing. Sometimes she'd be crying, then, she'd want to listen. That is a very big indicator that they're trying to lie or they're covering something up.
Everything is be okay.
Just not with me. No, it's not going to be okay for a lot of people. Would you tell us if you remembered?
Yes.
Okay. For right now, we're still doing our investigation, but you're under arrest.
Lisa's dead, and it appears that you were responsible for that at this time. So that's what the charge is going to be.
We made the decision that we're just going to cut this down because she's not going to give us anything else that we need.
After questioning Sabrina Zunich for 1 hour, detectives still have no motive. Hours later, Kevin Knoefel returns home from work and arrives at the police station.
I went out to greet him. He started asking me very strange questions. He wanted me to tell him graphic details about what had just happened to his wife. There are a ton of more relevant things that I would imagine somebody would want to know. You know, how are my kids doing? Can I see my kids? And I just thought that was bizarre.
Police say 18-year-old Sabrina Zunich had been with the victim and her family for about a year and a half.
Everything seemed so normal. And then this happens. Someone finally reaches out and wants you a part of their family. They want to take you in and help you and guide you through life, and you kill. And you do this.
Detectives reach out to family and friends, looking for clues about what was happening inside the Knoefel home.
There was some trouble that was stirring in their marriage. Friends of Lisa said that they were talking about possibly getting a divorce because it got that bad. The root of the problem was Sabrina. Kevin, Lisa, and Sabrina did have a meeting with a social worker, and there was a conversation about when Sabrina would leave the Knoefel's house.
Sabrina turned 18 when she was still in high school, senior year in high school, and Kevin really wanted to keep being her foster father.
I believe it was all agreed upon that Sabrina would stay at the Knoefel house until after she graduated from high school, which would have been in June the following year.
Detectives obtain a search warrant for electronics found at the crime scene.
I was hoping to find some text messages, some emails, some search history as to why this crime took place. Over the past several weeks, Kevin Knoefel and Sabrina text messaged each other over 1,000 times. I did not think it was normal for a foster father and a foster daughter to have thousands of text messages between the two of them.
On the night of the murder, Kevin had a perfect alibi. He was out of town for work, driving his truck in another state. And that night, there were many texts between the two of them. So they've been in contact all night up until the murder.
Authorities suspect Kevin Knoefel may have information about what happened that night. Kevin agrees to be interviewed only with his attorney present.
We were confident that Kevin left for work at 8 p.m. the night before the murder, and he didn't get back into town until after Lisa's death. So we want to know from his perspective as to if there was any argument going on at the house before he left.
And then you told me you wanted to talk about his wife's work.
Correct.
That's the subject matter.
Yes.
So.
I told his lawyer that we would just talk about the work, but I was hoping that maybe he would open up and give us some insight as to what was going on and why the reason that this happened.
Kevin, do you know anything that was happening at the house the night before you left for work that night?
Well, hang on a second. We just talking about his wife's work. What's going on at the house the night before is not his wife's work.
Okay. Where does your wife work at?
County Children's Family Services.
What does she do there?
She was a social worker for the children's section.
He was looking down. There was no tears. There was no anger.
Were you and Lisa in the process of going through a divorce?
Okay, now we're getting outside the scope.
Kevin Knoefel was not willing to help the police in finding out exactly what happened to his wife. Why is he not cooperating with us? What is he hiding from us?
We're just trying to figure out what happened that night. His wife was brutally murdered here, and we're trying to help him. He can help us in the investigation.
He wasn't within 100 miles of the house on that.
I understand that, but he was with them prior to leaving the house, so he can discuss what the house was like prior to him leaving.
He was just very muted and just kind of there, just staring down most of the time there.
We're not going to get into, the relationship between Kevin and Lisa. It's just, you got bloody girl with a bloody knife.
You know what, I apologize for wasting your time then, because...
Well, how about your relationship with any of the other children in the household?
I mean, how about your relationship with Sabrina? You didn't discuss anything with that?
No.
Kevin?
No.
I mean, you can feel free to talk.
He's no lawyers right next to
I understand, or you can still say what he wants to say.
except that when I can answer more questions. Okay, we're done here then.
Okay.
Kevin refused to answer, and his attorney refused to let him answer. This interview did bring...
After the interview, authorities learned more about Kevin Knoeffel's behavior around the time of Lisa's murder.
Kevin, according to court records, faced significant money issues. He was in debt.
I would characterize Kevin Knoefel as money hungry. Everything that Kevin did and thought about was about money.
6 months before the murder, Kevin Knoefel took out a life insurance policy on Lisa.
Kevin Knoefel took out approximately $750,000 worth of life insurance on Lisa Knoefel. Back in April of that year, he terminated his own life insurance and his kid's life insurance, but kept Lisa's life insurance.
He got more than $750,000 after Lisa's death, and he used that to pay on a previously foreclosed upon house. He used that to buy a new car, to take flying lessons. Records show that he and his mother purchased a $225,000 house in Summerfield, Florida. Seeing the things that Kevin spent his money on, talking to friends who noticed how cold and indifferent he was about the murder, and piecing all these things together, it really painted a story.
6 months after Lisa Knoeffel's murder, there is a major breakthrough. Still in custody, Sabrina Zunich agrees to talk to the prosecutor, Karen Knoefel, through a process called a proffer.
So a proffer is a good faith first step when the defense attorney, the prosecution meet with the suspect. It's an opportunity for them to be 100% complete, honest, and tell exactly what happened. It's a first step into a plea agreement. We cannot use this against her in court.
What we believe from conversations is that what led up to this homicide, to this murder, is that there was another party involved in planning that.
Yes. This Kevin Knoefel, my foster father. It was Kevin's idea, and it was talked about after we were having sexual relations, and him and Lisa were having problems in marriage. He wanted to get a divorce, but Haley, which is a 3-year-old daughter of his and her, was in the picture, and he wanted full custody. She would get custody or it would be shared, and he didn't want that happening. So the alternative was for this to happen.
When was it, after you started to live there on a daily basis, that your relationship with Kevin changed? When did the sexual nature start to change?
It all started not with sex, but with massages, because he was a truck driver and his legs would cramp, so it was inner thigh. Then it progressively got into sex.
Does he ever tell you, hey, you can't tell anybody about this?
All the time.
Did he say what would happen if you told
Then you'd be taken out of my care and I could lose my foster parent license.
What did you say in response to that?
I would never do that.
Okay.
Tell on him.
As Sabrina and Kevin's relationship continued, Sabrina described the increasing tension she felt from Lisa, and that Sabrina felt that she wasn't welcome in the house anymore.
Lisa being in the field of, working for the Job and Family Services in the sex division, I think she had a pretty good inkling on what was going on.
So then did you think that she was being harsher with you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and were you resentful about that?
No, at this point in time, I was like, no, I need to do this. I want this to work. I have all this going on. I can be successful. I'm going to get my wildest dreams met.
So Kevin convinced Sabrina that if she did kill Lisa and did get caught, that she would only do 2 to 5 years, that he would protect her, and that after she got out, that he would be there with her. They would buy a house, and basically she can be like a mother figure to Haley.
So when does he start talking to you about divorce?
It was 3 months before. He said, well, look, I'm going to kill myself if she doesn't leave because I can't deal with this anymore. And so when he said that, it kind of triggered me. I was like, no, I don't want that to happen. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Given Sabrina's history of feeling abandoned and essentially struggling her whole life and feeling like she was no longer struggling, that brought up great feelings in Sabrina. Feelings that essentially led to the murder.
Prosecutor Kevin Knoefel is 1 hour into interviewing Sabrina Zunich, who has been in jail for 6 months for murdering her foster mother, Lisa Knoefel. Sabrina has just revealed that Lisa's husband, Kevin, urged her to do it.
So have you talked to him since
No,
then?
nada, no money on my books, no letters, no calls, no nothing. Nothing.
That's when we learned that Kevin helped plan this murder. It was calculated, and essentially Kevin using Sabrina to get his wife out of the picture and to collect life insurance money.
So tell me if you remember the first time you talked about it.
It was brought up in the car on the way to school. He broke down and cried and said, I'm taking my life or she needs to be dead.
Why doesn't he kill her?
Because then Haley wouldn't have a father. He'd be out in prison, and basically he convinced me that I wouldn't get caught.
Before the actual murder, another plot was supposed to happen. They were talking about this hitman.
I know you said that you didn't tell anybody that you were planning on killing Lisa.
Can I tell you that I did have somebody else know about it, and it was Autumn Pavlik. She knew about it, was going to have people from Cleveland do it.
Autumn Pavlik was Sabrina Zunich's friend. They had met at South High School. Autumn got roped into the murder plot because Sabrina approached Autumn and asked her if she can get a hitman. I guess Autumn used to live down in a different section of town where she was around that kind of activity.
Sabrina tells prosecutors that the plan to hire a hitman fell through. Kevin and Sabrina decide Sabrina will kill Lisa.
And how many times would you say that you talked about that plan?
It was all planned in about a month. All the specifics were 2 weeks before what was going to happen.
And then during the time when you would see Lisa, I mean, would you think like, oh, I can't do this?
That my heart would beat out of my chest when just thinking about it. I still sit here in disbelief that I did it. That's not me.
So when you would have those moments of self-doubt, okay, what would convince you to do it?
That it would be for Haley's best interest. That's what he manipulated me with. The plan was me not to get caught, and me and him to live together with Haley, and me be a mother figure to her and have a relationship.
During his proffer, she seemed very honest with us. She gave good eye contact with us. There was no delay in between her answers. She was very direct.
And was there any discussion about what knife to use?
Yes.
How did that go down?
We went to the kitchen, he showed me, and
Showed you what?
the knife and which one to use. It was, use this bread knife because there's gripping on it and there's ridges and it's long.
That's the highest number of stab wounds I've ever seen. So how did you go about that?
I can't say I don't remember, but I don't know what came over me because she got up, she was able to fight it, and I guess that's what made it to
Then
be.
why did you stop when you realized, oh, this isn't going the way I thought it would?
Because I said, well, it's too late now. I'm going to go to jail anyway. Better just get it done.
Sabrina's childhood, I believe, is probably the most important thing to understand why something like this could happen. Sabrina had never experienced a stable family, a loving household, the sense of security, the sense of belonging. Kevin seemed to know how to prey on Sabrina's vulnerabilities.
Investigators now have Sabrina's motive. She was in love with Kevin, and the two were in an illegal relationship, but they need to prove Kevin's involvement. A week later, the prosecutor and Detective Parmator talked to Autumn Pavlik, the one other person who may have known about the plot.
Myself and Chief Assistant Prosecutor Karen went out to California and knocked on her door. We introduced ourselves, and she says, "I've been expecting you guys."
Autumn Pavlik agrees to a recorded interview at the Hesperia Police Department.
In later October of 2012, Autumn Pavlik actually moved out to California, and that's where she received a phone call from Sabrina Zunich asking, "Are we going to be able to do this hitman thing?" We confirmed that while Autumn was on the telephone with Sabrina, Kevin was in the background.
Give us an idea of the number of times that Sabrina brought up with you about this hitman.
Like 4 times. She'd ask me about it a lot.
But yet, then when Kevin gets on, I mean, you had to think, wow, this is serious. Now this adult's involved in this. Were you surprised that he was also talking to you about that?
I was. I mean, at first I thought, maybe she's just full of it. But when he got on the phone, it became a reality. I'm like, okay, well, if I can talk her out of it, and if I can make it so where him manipulating her is no longer there, then maybe it won't happen.
Deep in Autumn's mind, she said she was never going to actually get the hitman. She was just trying to push it off. Hopefully that she would just not want to do this.
You try to talk sense into her and you don't need to do this?
I would. She wouldn't listen. She was completely set. When a person like that has their mindset, it's set.
Just remember, you're always in contact with us. They can hear you, so if you need anything, just say so.
Investigators are trying to catch Kevin Knoefel in a lie. They fly Autumn Pavlik to Ohio from California. She agrees to visit Kevin wearing surveillance equipment.
So you have audio and video on the key fob? You don't have to touch anything, you don't have to do anything to it.
We just want to try to get Autumn to have Kevin try to talk about the murder of his wife. Try to get him to talk about their plan of the hitman or of the robbery and of the life insurance policy.
Just figured I'd stop over because I've been trying to reach you and we're out here to maybe go see Sabrina and wanted to see if I could talk to you. If it's alright.
Try to get past all this crap.
Yeah, me too, but there's cops that have been contacting my dad trying to find me, and I have no idea what's going on. Like, what am I supposed to say to them? Because of the whole, the hitman thing that we had talked about on the phone.
If somebody's accusing you of being involved in something you know you're not involved, you would say something like, "What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. You're crazy."
How many times in someone's life do they say that they want to kill somebody? I don't know what they mean.
But she also said that you and her, collaborated or put together some type of plan.
They said you haven't talked to her.
No, and before it all happened, before everything happened.
If I wanted someone dead, it would have been with a gun, because I have a lot of them.
It's just, if somebody's talking about a hitman, are you involved in something like that, or are you not involved in something like that? It's pretty simple.
Now you have to face the situation because, we just didn't know.
I'm not in any situation right now.
Well, of course you are. You lost your wife and...
Well, that's the situation I'm in. We gotta keep going.
9 months after Lisa's murder, investigators have gathered a mountain of evidence against Kevin Knoefel.
I got an arrest warrant for Kevin Knoefel. Early in the morning, we went to Kevin Knoefel's house and we arrested him. I don't think he was surprised. It was kind of weird because he was sleeping up in the bedroom where was Sabrina's room.
Kevin Knoefel is charged with conspiracy to commit aggravated murder and multiple sexual battery charges. Detectives approach Kevin differently this time, confronting him from the start about his involvement.
So we're good to go around? Yes, sir. Yeah. We would like you to talk to us to give us some insight on some things. We have a lot of facts as to your involvement in this case. And we would like to know your side of the story and what happened.
What was the relationship now with Sabrina and Lisa and you? How's everything?
And Megan and Haley.
Yeah, the family. How's everything gelling? Had its good days and had its bad days.
Tell us about bad days.
Bad days. You started out with Megan and Sabrina getting into it. Or Sabrina either not getting her way about something and reacting to that, or doing something wrong, having to be done after.
Who would step in and correct her? Would it be you or would it be Lisa?
It was equal.
Okay.
It got to the point to where Lisa got really frustrated, and so we made a decision for Lisa to just deal with Megan, and I dealt with Sabrina. So, if you could elaborate more on how your relationship with Sabrina developed. Well, remember, Kevin, we actually told the truth when we came here. As we're getting into all this stuff, am I supposed to have my lawyer?
Yeah, it's your decision. You know you have a choice in the matter.
Well, I already have, but an attorney on record, I think he should be here for all this. Well, I'm only gonna say the truth, not gonna lie about anything. You know we have the evidence. I have an 11-count indictment here. And I want to discuss the whole thing with you, the whole puzzle. You know, each piece of the puzzle we put together for the last 8 months. And we have the evidence.
Your choice to make, Calvin.
I should have a lawyer for the proceeding.
That's his right. I mean, his right is to stop, not answer any question without an attorney.
After a total of an hour and a half in the interrogation room, Kevin Knoefel is taken into police custody.
All right, go ahead and stand up. I'm going to pat you down.
We've done the right thing and we had the right person. Kevin Knoefel was 100% involved.
A Lake County grand jury indicted the man for plotting to kill Lisa with help from his foster child. But that's not all. He's also accused of sexual battery for having a relationship with that child.
18 months after Lisa's murder, Kevin Knoefel goes to trial, accused of conspiring to kill his wife.
The charges were conspiracy to commit aggravated murder, complicity to commit aggravated murder, and there was multiple sexual battery charges.
Sabrina explained later that she turned against Kevin because she felt abandoned by Kevin, who promised to take care of her after the murders. She believed her life was going to be better after Lisa was out of the picture, but ultimately being in jail on these charges and feeling abandoned by Kevin for not protecting her, she decided to speak up.
We have a 44-year-old man with no prior criminal record, no prior criminal history. But we also have a 41-year-old woman who was a mother to 2, a sister to 1, and a wife who was brutally murdered.
In my opinion, the verdict came very quickly. The jury came up with a guilty verdict. I believe it took a matter of about 2 days.
Kevin Knoefel is convicted on all 11 charges. He is sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. He is also sentenced to an additional 12 years for having a sexual relationship with a minor.
We're satisfied that the likelihood that he's ever going to get out is slim and none by the terms of this sentence.
He's looking to appeal. Do you think that'll be successful?
No.
It felt very gratifying to me for the long work and hard work that myself, our police department, and our prosecutor team have put into this case. Kevin Knoefel is a sexual predator. He was no better than the people that sexually abused the kids that Lisa was trying to help.
After Kevin is convicted, Sabrina pleads guilty to aggravated murder charges.
And you stabbed her, you caught her, as I understand it, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
On multiple occasions, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you caused her death, is that it?
Yes.
Tell us here today. Arguing found guilty of another crime of aggravated murder based upon your acknowledgments and representations here in court today, that charge being outlined in the indictment.
Yes, sir.
Sabrina Zunich has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for stabbing her foster mother, Lisa Knoefel, to death earlier this year. Police said Zunich was involved in a love affair with her stepfather. She pleaded guilty to a count of aggravated murder. Her sentence does carry the possibility of parole.
Sabrina Zunich was given a 30-year sentence, and that's when she would be eligible for parole. So she could do more time. Kind of depends on her behavior while she is currently in prison.
Based on Sabrina's upbringing and based on Kevin's grooming, it kind of felt to me like she didn't have control over this, because I don't think she learned right from wrong from the people, the adults in her life.
I feel bad for Sabrina because I think she's also a victim in this case, even though she's the main suspect in this case. But I feel bad that she was taken advantage of by a grown adult that should know better.
When you think back to the type of person Lisa is, it just makes it that much worse to have your life taken by somebody that you reached out to help. Is unfathomable to think about.